Welcome back. This is Tim Harris, and I have to say, Julie and I have been working on this podcast, which is not one page, but two pages. How many pages is this,
I think
Julie?
it
Three
might be
pages.
4 or 5, actually.
5 pages. All right. So
Two-part show, though.
right, it's two-part show. But we've had a lot of folks that were asking us for more bloviating, opinion making about why we are so confident that we're at the beginning stages of a 25-year housing boom. And so Julie and I spent a lot of time coming up with the actual things that are happening now that are validating our thesis. So I'm going to start out by telling you something that Julie and I heard in the news this morning. And now, granted, this is maybe following the breadcrumbs a little bit too far, but it is very interesting. So there is no doubt, and we're going to get to all these points here in a second. There's no doubt, absolutely should be zero doubt in your minds that the government is about to launch will probably be the biggest housing initiative since, frankly, building houses after World War II for all the returning veterans. All right. So today, Pulte, and then I saw it reprinted in other sources, and he's in charge of the FHFA, came out and said specifically that there's going to be a new program, and they might be telling us what the branding is going to be: Save American Housing. Now, I've never heard Save American Housing before until this morning, but there you go. The last bit of branding, and you know this administration loves their big branding, right? So the last name we heard was Make Housing Great Again. Now, I don't know which way they're going to go, but the point is the train is definitely starting to leave the station. And so what's going to happen first are all the things that we're going to talk to you about. Now, Julie and I could, and I know some of you want us to, talk about what's happening with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and all the rest of it. We've talked a lot about that in the past. If you're interested in knowing what opportunity that might present to you, we're not financial advisors. Go listen to the past podcasts. There are two of them that we did when interviewing Keith Jensen. We are invested with Keith, who is invested in, various GSEs, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the rest of it. So go listen to his podcast that we did, the interviews we did with him, so you can understand exactly, maybe it's a good investment for you. But that aside, we're focused on specifically helping you to understand why you are in the right place at the right time, and what you're about to experience and what the industry is about to experience is something that we've never experienced before with regards to housing, and it's incredible. It's sort of a mundane subject, except if your livelihood is based on home sales. So as I was saying before, we have 5 pages of notes here. You can get these notes if you are subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to harrisrealestatedaily.com. The links to the newsletter are down below in the show description, whether you're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, doesn't matter where. Go and click the link. Subscribe to the newsletter, harrisrealestatedaily.com. And that is where 5 pages of notes are waiting for you. And we also do create a lot of other unique content just for podcast listeners. So keep that all in mind. The energy and enthusiasm that you should be feeling right now, as we trail out of 2025, which is mind-boggling to think about, into 2026, should be something that will completely and totally change all of your fortunes. If you're already doing fantastic, well, get ready for even more. If you've just been sort of, as most people for the last 3 years, just sort of been putting along as we bounced off the bottom of the housing market, your fortunes are about to change. And if you're just new in real estate, your timing could not be any better. The thing and the reason that we're putting so much focus and energy behind this and time is because we want you to clearly understand that the change is afoot. There's a massive surge of opportunity that is going to be right in front of you. And if you're not aware of it, it's going to get by you. And if you're not taking advantage of it, as it starts, it's going to get by you, and your competitors will have a huge advantage of you, versus you in the marketplace. These are facts. Don't believe me? We're about to prove it to you. Julie Harris.
Yes, and remember that we have begun to talk to you about this over first quarter, second quarter. We've been updating these points. So if this sounds a little bit familiar to you, or maybe you read it in a previous newsletter, today we're talking about updated points, updated facts, statistics, and all of these things you can do mini videos about. You can talk about it when you're speaking with your friends who say, how's real estate? Is it ever coming back? It seems so depressed. What's going on? So take each one of these points and think about, in your own real estate practice, how are you going to use this as a talking point? Make sense?
Yeah, it does. And so we've been explaining why we think there's a generational housing boom that's just getting started. And a generation is defined by, depending on who you believe, 20 or 25 years. We're 25-year based on, what we've been building our thesis around. So if you think about a housing boom, how does it build? and then what are the different stages of it? It's like if you guys have ever studied, product adaptation and all the rest of it, real estate cycles follow something similar. And so what we're seeing now, and again, this is the reason I'm so excited, especially as I see point number one, what we're seeing is more energy that's about to be poured into housing than has ever happened before in the history of the United States, and maybe even the history of the world with regards to all housing. Hey, I don't mind big statements, especially when you're hearing number one. So Julie, I'm going to jump right in.
Yes.
This is point number one. The $84 trillion wealth transfer is just getting started. What am I talking about? There's $84 trillion that are going to be passed from the baby boomers to their millennial children. 84.
So get your pencil, because I figured this out. How many zeros come after 84 trillion? It's not 3, it's not 6, it's not even 9, it's 12 zeros. After 84 makes 84 trillion in wealth transfer. That's why we're leading with that point. Back to you.
Well, and so what does that mean? And what are they going to be spending the money on? They're going to be spending the money on what you spend your money on: housing, cars. Truthfully, I think luxury items are going to go through the roof. I think you're going to see luxury brands do exceptionally well because, inherited money, generally speaking, is not treated the same as earned money. Just saying. But housing, luxury housing, coastal housing, you can think of all these different opportunities as much as I can. We're housing focused. But what we do know is there's 84 trillion that's going to be transferred, and a lot of it's going to be transferred in the form of real estate. So
inheritances, down payment gifts, all cash purchases, supporting half of a down payment, something like that, even rate buy down. So there's several different ways that this wealth will transfer, but a lot of it will end up being cash purchases for sure.
Well, so a lot of it's going to be a millennial, inheriting properties from their parents. A lot of it's going to be, and Julie just said, cash, things like that. But it is a natural, normal, expected thing that people are going to want to put. The millennials inheriting the money are going to put the money in real estate. And we know the baby boomers are going to be selling their real estate. So you guys can see, considering you make money when, people buy and sell, you can see that the opportunities with $84 trillion, I can hardly even think of that number, how that's going to be just something truly extraordinary. And if you're not, that point alone should absolutely completely boggle your brain to consider. Now, Julie and I are Generation X, so the wealth transfer to our pockets is going to be like 22 cents in a pack of Wrigley's gum, but that's such is the way, right? All right.
Yes, but this also speaks to affordability, which we all know is the hot button right now. And some of that wealth transference will take care of part of that affordability problem. So that could be the one and only point, is just this fact. 84 trillion is a lot of money to transfer. But let's talk about that pent up demand. Why does that transfer of wealth matter? So that's point number 2.
Right. Point number 2, pent up demand is everywhere. Julie Harris.
The median age of first-time homebuyers has climbed to a record of 38 years old, up from 35 just a year ago, which was previously the record, and well above the late 20s norm of past decades, signaling that affordability constraints are adding years to the timeline for entering the market. Now, NAR stated it this way: the median first-time homebuyer has reached an all-time high of 38 years old. But why does that matter? It's because millions of them have been waiting for affordability to improve. Demand isn't gone. It's stacked up, ready to be unleashed. So here's the question to ask yourself, listeners. What happens when millions of households who have been forced to delay moving suddenly see rates dip, which are already happening, or prices soften a little bit, just enough to act? And what if these things happen at once?
Well, let me
That's
just
a lot of transactions. Go ahead.
Builders, right? So there's going to be, again, I'm talking investing again, so forgive me.
It's coming up too.
Warren Buffett just put a big bet, I forget how many billions of dollars, on the biggest home builders, because clearly, even if there's more available demand for resale homes in general, which we know there is, even if there's enough supply of resale homes for sale, if most consumers are given the choice between buying a resale home and a new home, they're going to buy the new home even when it's more expensive. You guys follow me on that? So the builders are going to start building like crazy. I know I'm going to step on one of Julie's future points, but I'm going to do it anyway. The government incentives to the builders and to people buying new build homes is going to be off the charts. The energy, the motivation, the focus on new construction, and you got to think of all the new construction adjacent types of companies that benefit from it. You're talking about your Home Depots. Again, getting off topic, but the average person, and I think Julia will remember more than this, get the number better than me. The average family, after they buy a home, whether it's resale or new construction, I think spends like 40 or 50 grand. Isn't
45,000 in the first 24 months. Not necessarily all cash. They're charging it, they're doing different things, but they're beefing up the economy locally by 45,000 per household after a recent sale.
After the sale, that's not commissions and closing costs and all this stuff. That is window coverings and landscaping and fixing the furnace and building a new deck. That's extraordinary. So think bigger here. We have an inevitable amount of money coming into the market from this wealth transfer that's just starting to happen. We have an enormous number of millennials that are essentially sitting on the sidelines. Now we have, and if you think that obviously we're now going to get into interest rates and mortgages and whatnot, but that combination by itself, you have what? Huge demand. You have secondarily huge access to capital, which will be benefiting a lot of folks. And now we're going to get into mortgages. So all the things that you look for, if you are trying to say, what is the perfect case for a boom in housing? We're giving it to you. Enormous pent-up demand, and now we're going to see a relatively large increase in supply. Some of your markets are already experiencing that. Point number 3, Julie Harris, is lower mortgage rates unlock activity.
Yeah, so even a modest shift from where we were at for a long time, 7%, to anything close to the 5 handle, certainly we've even seen it around 6.5, could boost buying power by roughly 10%. As rates ease, buyers currently sidelined are going to return, lifting transaction volume. Now, we know this because week over week purchase applications are tied. You can see almost to the minute when rates come down that those purchase applications go up. So yes, affordability does remain stretched. Home prices have risen, remember, 60% since 2019. That's pushed the median U.S. price to $441,738 as of the time we wrote this, with mortgage payments averaging around $2,570 per month. But again, signs of relief to that are emerging because just 2 months ago, the median price of a new single-family home did fall countrywide of overall averages by about 2%, bringing it back to $407,000. 20% of resale listings and up to 35% of, in some areas, have already experienced price adjustments. That's the highest level of price cuts on active listings since 2016. And remember, we always clarify that that is not the same as prices crashing. It's just an adjustment. I've had, and I know you've had calls like this too with our coaching members, where they're dealing with sellers who wanted to use that pandemic level appreciation, not just for 2021 and 22, but 23, 24, 25. Like they expected to keep on getting that big chunk, and they were trying to price it that way. So when we see, excuse me, a lot of price adjustments, a lot of that's coming from just using real comps instead of speculation. Would you agree with that?
100%. I'm going to add some flavor into what Julie is saying with regards to mortgages. Again, and we're not talking a lot about this today. We're trying to avoid talking about it, even though it's probably my favorite topic. But all the changes that are afoot for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. One of the big announcements was, and I don't remember the specifics, was they have moved to a new credit scoring system, basically, which immediately made, I think it was 300,000 more people available, or that would be able to get a mortgage than last year. So 300,000 more real estate transactions. So 300 more buyer sides, 300,000 more buyer than 300,000 more seller sides, right? So that's a big change that's happening. We're also going to see we have a theory, and I think Logan, I always say his name wrong. Moths from Housing Wire also has a thesis that there's going to be a huge emphasis on adjustable rate mortgages. And we're going to see probably amortizations moved back to 40 years. So what do you have? You have the affordability crisis is going to be cured. Rates are falling, new mortgage products. You're going to have more people be able to get a mortgage. You're going to have an increase in supply. You're going to have obviously a never-ending increase in demand. We're getting to more points about that in a second. Are you not excited yet? You should be. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that there's $42 trillion that's going to be passing from one generation to the next? There has never been, I cannot think historically of anything that's ever happened like this, not just for housing, but for any industry ever. Actually, I just thought of one. If you want to look for something that was similar in our lifetimes, at least, There's probably been two. And it was the internet revolution. It was probably three, actually. The creation of the PC, internet revolution, and I'm thinking four now. Obviously, then you have internet. Oh, what am I'm forgetting one. Anyway,
You mean like the
AI.
.com boom or something like that?
Yeah, dot-com boom. So you've seen these big, huge things that have happened in the economy that have allowed a lot, just essentially what's an online business, and boom, we were buying off everything off AI. What I'm off Amazon. Now it's, what, 2-3 years ago, what's AI? Now everyone's using AI over Google. Those types of big leaps have happened before, but not for a boring, old, predictable industry like housing until now. And one of Trump's real focuses, I said Trump, so just bear with me if you're having your political cackles raised. Just remember, you're here to be of service to other folks as a real estate professional. And if Trump is making it so more people can buy and sell real estate, you should be at least pro the changes he's making to favor your industry, your buyers and sellers, and also your pocketbook. So
yeah, you don't have to like him personally to like some of the policies that are improving people's lives.
yeah, I mean, frankly, from what he's doing to real estate, he should be real estate's man of the year. That's what I think.
Maybe.
And again, all these new programs are about to be announced, which is, again, we're doing our best to get you motivated, to focus on the expanding opportunity. If you feel like your best days were behind you, you're absolutely wrong. And I need to throw this out too. And I know I'm getting to our bonus point, but you guys will forget I said it tomorrow when we actually talk about it. There is going to be an explosion in brokerage. There's no doubt in my mind. Julie and I were using 3 different AIs to try to do a projection on what the demand for real estate agents will be into the future based on the demand for essentially the projected number of homes that we'll be selling. And we'll maybe share this on another podcast, but the bottom line is the total members, I don't even know if they'll join NAR or not, but the total needed licensee count is going to go through the roof. It's going to be extraordinary. So it is so fascinating to me to hear all these, bloviators that are talking constantly about how the real estate agents are going to be replaced by AI. It's absolutely the exact opposite. I've heard a lot of people saying that the brokerage industry is going to be on the decline. It's exactly the exact opposite. More demand, we've established that, right, is going to require more facilitators of said demand. Those are real estate agents. There's no way around it. So if you are thinking that your best days are behind you in the real estate industry, you are completely and totally wrong. But if you believe that, and if you don't wake up, then you will make what you think true, and your best days will be behind you. Your best days are ahead of you. Starting now, prepare for 2026. All right, Julie, let's go on to our next point.
Okay, point number 4 is a drill down about the millennials we were just talking about. They are the largest adult generation in U.S. history, and that means that there are 73 million of them. Now, why does that matter? Because in 2025, 52% of them stated in several surveys that I cited in the newsletter that they do intend to purchase a home. Now, what's 52% of 73? That's 38 million prospective buyers, or about 25 to 25 million home buying decisions. If they're off by 50%, we're still doing great. Okay?
Well, Julie, it's not just the buyer sides. Think about on the listing side.
I know, right?
I mean,
so for example, let's say
Okay.
that you're a millennial teacher who's 33 years old. Maybe she's got a couple of kids. She's been renting, waiting for rates to drop, waiting for her to maybe have a significant down payment, maybe that wealth transference that we've talked about. Okay, so now she's ready to buy. Multiply somebody like her times 38 million more of her types. Okay. And again, even if you cut that in half because we're excited and speculating, that's still a lot more transactions, isn't it? So this particular cohort, because there's so many of them, will be the backbone of housing demand for at least the next 15 years.
I mean, think about what you said, Julie. If there's 38 million prospective buyers, that means there has to be 38 million prospective sellers.
Yes, for them to have something to buy. That's right.
That's 80 million transactions.
And yes, new construction is a factor, but it's always around 10%, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the highest it ever gets is about 20%.
Hold
So,
on,
yeah.
think about that. 80 million transactions, and the oldest millennials now are basically in their early 40s. So the number, this pure anybody who doesn't think that housing is going to be an incredible investment of your time, energy, and resources going forward, they're not paying attention. They have.
But wait, there's more, because that's not even the best. Okay, all of that is true.
Point number 5.
Point number 5, we were just talking about millennials. Gen Z will be even bigger. Gen Z at around 69 million strong is even more eager. 67% of them said they plan to purchase a home in 2025. What's the math on that? That's 46 million in addition to the 38 that we just talked about, and roughly, again, 25 to 30 million more sales or, sides, we would say. So what happens when nearly 50 million Gen Z buyers all want to buy at the same time and they're competing against those millennials? Do you think that we have demand back? I think we do. And the only reason that this is going to stretch out as a 25-year boom is because we literally don't have enough inventory to make it move faster. So if you've got 25 million people who want to buy, but you've only got 1.5 million active listings, and you've got another million, being built, then we still are undersupplied. And that's one of the reasons why this is going to be a longer, more stretched out boom, because we just have to come up with the inventory.
It's going to be 25 years because remember, the millennials make babies, and the babies then basically are going to want to buy houses when they're, hopefully, in their 20s or 30s, right? And then you have all these other generational things. And what's happening is it's working out like this, and it's getting bigger and bigger. The housing demand in the United States is going to go through the roof like we've never seen before, because what's happened is the normal demand for housing, you guys can find charts like this. Just use ChatGPT. It's been like this, right? ChatGPT will show a chart that's just like this for housing demand. But now what we've seen is a demand for housing that's like this. And if you scale that out and you look to see into the future and use these facts that we just gave you guys, you'll see that we're looking at least 25 years.
Yeah, and you have parallel demand with both of these two generations because the average age has reached 38, and that doesn't usually happen. Usually you have one generation that's buying and then the other one will come up behind them. Now they're competing with each other.
They're overlapping in the younger generations they're overlapping in the younger generations of the millennials and the older generation, the Gen Z. But it's so sad that nobody talks about Generation X. No one gives a rat's ass about us. Have you noticed that?
I think it was poor branding calling us X. I don't know.
I think Elon, maybe that's the reason he has such an addiction to the letter X, right?
It could be.
Generation X. Well, so listen, guys, I'll tell you right now for sure, given all the things, and this is just day one of us presenting this information to you, we're going to go to day two, might give you another bonus point, but I want you to be thinking about how are you positioned right now to take advantage of this inevitable surge in housing demand? How are you positioned to do it? How are you positioned from a brokerage perspective? Let's start there, because really that's the most important thing. You put your license with the broker who's not thinking like we're thinking, who's not showing you the facts like we're showing you the facts. You're going to be stuck in the quagmire of missed opportunity for the rest of your life. You're going to see your competitors accelerate away from you, and you're going to realize it's because, your brokerage was a little bit behind the times. They were a little bit, slow on the uptake. They were thinking, well, you better wait and get ready. And why you don't need to take another listing. And you got to start out, by punishing yourself by working with those buyers. You got to buy your buyer leads from Zillow. Have you guys heard all this garbage? You need to realize where the opportunity is going to be in the future is going to be agents that have their minds open. And if your mind is not open, or if it's opening now, just from listening to Julie and I for the last 25 minutes, I strongly encourage you to be in alignment with Julie and I at eXp Realty. Text me directly at 512-758-0206. Again, it's 512-758-0206 if you're ready to join eXp. And for those of you who are in eXp, yes, we are interested in co-sponsoring. You can name Julie Harris as your co-sponsor. That works out fine. If you're just getting ready to get started and you're wanting to learn more about eXp Realty, scroll below and click the link to learn more about Julie and I's eXp Realty group. We have thousands of agents that are aligned with us around the world at eXp Realty. And if you want to be part of the mindset that is going to be in perfect alignment with the inevitable housing surge, housing boom that we're already seeing, then you need to maybe consider being in alignment with Julie and I at eXp Realty. If you're a brokerage or if you're a team, this is the perfect place for you to call home. Again, if you're ready to join and you're looking for a broker or you're looking for a sponsor who's definitely going to be proactive in your success, text me at 512-758-0206. The link is down below. Don't call. I won't answer. I never answer my phone. Sorry, not being rude. I'm just busy.
You're always talking to everybody. That's why.
Exactly. But I'm returning texts. But do text me. I'm also on WhatsApp too, same phone number. And or if you're just ready to get started, just go to the link below and learn more about why, thousands of agents have joined with Julie and I at eXp Realty. In the meantime, Julie, am I correct here? You want to start with point number 6 tomorrow? I think we should.
Yes, we can do that.
Yes. All right, cool. You guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow. Hello, thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. And don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video. And remember to watch the next one. You're going to love that one.